Alright, NFL Divisional round. I'm back, like you guys kind of wanted me to. No intro for today because I personally want a new intro, and I really don't know how to do one of those type of intro stuff. So if you guys know of a channel that you would consider me to ask for an intro, please let me know in the comments down below. But anyway, let's get this started with the NFL Divisional round. Well, let's start with Vikings versus Niners. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Out of all of these playoff picks and all that, this one is the toughest one. Because to me, the Niners and the Vikings somewhat play so very similar. I mean, it is at San Francisco, and that's going to be a tough place to beat, even though the Niners have lost twice. But I look at this matchup right about here. This is where the real pressure of Jimmy Garoppolo happens. Because I just look at this matchup. This is Jimmy Garoppolo's first playoff start, and it's against a really good Minnesota Viking defense. And the Vikings are coming off from a win at New Orleans. Now, the Niners did beat the New Orleans Saints at New Orleans. But no one expected the Vikings to actually do it. People were thinking it's going to be Philly or Seattle playing San Francisco, but no, the Vikings have proved us wrong. So really, in this match, it's about Jimmy Garoppolo versus the Viking defense. And really, you'll even look at the schedule for the Niners this year. The three losses, one was to Seattle, but Seattle still doesn't have that great of a defense. The Falcons were injured, even though in the second half of the season, they actually played Bears defense in the second half. But overall, they didn't, you could say, were not great. And then you had the Ravens. The Ravens, to me, have been the closest they have played in a great defense. So really, if the Niners lose this, we need to question Jimmy Garoppolo. And then we would have to question if they played really an easy schedule all year. Because, and here's another thing. You win the NFC West, and if you lose this, there's just so much questions we'll have for the Niners next season. And with the Vikings, it's also a question about Kirk Cousins. Now, he did win his first playoff game at a tough place to beat, and I think personally he outplayed Drew Brees. Kind of, but overall in this game, it's such a tough one because they even got both good running games. These teams are similar, but it's about which quarterbacks, to me, will get the most pressure. And honestly, if I had to say a QB that's going to get the most pressure, I have to say Jimmy Garoppolo because this is his first ever playoff start. And it's against a Vikings defense that's still been really good. And honestly, this is, like I said, this is a tough one. And honestly, I'm going with the underdog. I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings to beat the San Francisco 49ers. Overtime, same results, 26-20. Minnesota. And I just say it because the pressure Jimmy Garoppolo is going to face for being in his first ever playoff game. And really the Niners, if you don't count the Ravens, have not played a defense like Minnesota's. Unless people can say something that I'm wrong, then let me know in the comments. But I don't really think there's been a defense like Minnesota that the Niners have played if you don't count the Ravens. And I'm just saying. Titans of Ravens, and I'll be honest with you, I never expected Tennessee to get this far. So really, this is going to be interesting. But honestly, the Ravens and the Titans, they're both excellent running teams. The only difference will be whose defense steps up, and that's, to me, personally going to be the Ravens. I mean, if you can stop Lamar Jackson and that run game that the Ravens have if you're the Titans, then you have a good chance of winning this game. But however, I just can't see Tennessee do like they did in New England. There's no way they go into Baltimore and beat the Ravens. There's absolutely no way. If they do, I'll be very shocked. But I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens to win. I personally think it'll be a blowout. I'm going to say a 35-14 win. Texans at Chiefs. Now, to be honest with you, the best team in the AFC that could stop the Ravens is the Kansas City Chiefs. I personally think so. And really, I look at the situation with the Texans. They've never gone past that divisional round. Never have. So, what do you do in this situation? You got to contain Patrick Mahomes. I mean, the Chiefs' defense is not like it's gone. I mean, it's a little better than last year. It's just that it's still not that great, as some people were thinking, like, oh, they got Frank Clark. They got the Honey Badger. But no, it's not like that. But honestly, and then you got, like, Texans with J.J. Watt coming back. Personally, I respect J.J. Watt. I actually like him. Deshaun Watson had a great game against the Bills. And they got the weapons, but this is at Arrowhead. And really, the safest bet, I would say, is the Chiefs, because the Texans and their franchise have not gone past the divisional round. And the last time they played the Chiefs in the playoffs, I mean, yeah, sure, it was a different team back then, but still, same coach, it was a blowout. And really, I don't think the Texans can handle much of the offense that the Kansas City Chiefs have. So I'll go with Chiefs to win 35-21. Kansas City Chiefs versus Baltimore Ravens is my AFC Championship game. And finally, my Seattle Seahawks going to Lambeau Field. And I believe it's been since 1998 or 99 that the Seattle Seahawks went into Green Bay and beat the Packers. Ever since joining the NFC in 2002, the Seahawks have never beaten Green Bay at Green Bay. They beat them a few times in Seattle, never in Green Bay. So, Rodgers versus Wilson. Now, both quarterbacks, both the home team has won. Russell Wilson, out of all the teams, the Packers to me are the one team that gives him the most problems. That sounds odd, because considering that you look at the season like Baltimore did, or the Cardinals somehow, or a little bit. Well, I can't say much of the Saints because they couldn't run the ball that much. But you look at most of the losses since 2012, and you look at how Russell Wilson also has played against these Packers. Even though it's been a different team ever since 2012, they have been different teams with the Packers. But you can't deny that he still has that struggle against Green Bay. And honestly, I don't think Seattle's defense can stop Rodgers. I personally don't. Even though you got Clowney, you got Bob Wagner, KJ Wright, Zeke Alonza, and you got May Diggs in the secondary. But here's the thing: you don't have a shutdown corner. You don't have those anymore. I mean, we have to remember, this is no longer the Legion of Boom. This is a young Seattle secondary that personally I think is going to get torn apart from Aaron Rodgers. Unless you take out one of his prime offensive weapons away, then yeah. And personally, Jimmy Graham, to me, I think will have a great game because they have nobody that can stop the tight ends. Honestly, I would love to see my team win, but personally, I think the Green Bay Packers do beat the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to say Green Bay wins this one 30-20. And really, I just really can't see that happening. Unless Russell Wilson pulls off some miracle. And if they had Carson, Penny, and Procise, that would have been great because the Green Bay's defense against the run is not great. But here's the thing. You don't have Penny. You don't have Carson. You don't have Procise. You have aging beast mode, which I think has been all right. Robert Turbin, who I'm surprised we haven't even seen yet. And then a rookie. I mean, that's all you really got. But really, I think the Packers should move on to the NFC Championship game and will play the Minnesota Vikings. And if I had to go further, if that prediction comes true, I will go with the Green Bay Packers and the Baltimore Ravens to play in the Super Bowl. Now, probably most likely would pick Baltimore. So who do you guys have for this weekend? Leave a comment down below. Hit the like button. Share it with your friends. Subscribe to more videos like this one. This is Teach TV Tank Mode. Sign off.